Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics, Known Classics. This is episode number 2188, Doubleshot number 2082. Now, these two are epic collections. Now, they're both featuring characters that are created by Stan Lee. Some of them are, the other ones like some of them, but not all of them. First up, we're going back to his height of his popularity, the early 60s. Basically, the era where he just was a character creating machine with Jack Kirby. We're going back to the year 1962. Which, fun fact, just a couple years, I think last year, Marvel didn't really much do any celebrating for this character. But last year was the 6th anniversary, but for some reason, Marvel did nothing. As I can't think of any character last year who got basically a celebration of an anniversary. I think maybe the Avengers got one. And I know that this year I think Venom's going to celebrate an anniversary, but nothing for Hulk, Iron Man, or Spider-Man. Yeah. Well, first going on to Incredible Hulk, Epic Collection, Volume 1, Man or Monster. This book contains a lot of issues per se. We have the 6 issues that was Incredible Hulk Volume 1. We also have Fantastic Four, issue 12, 26, 25, and 26. Avengers 1 through 3 and 5. Tales of Honor 59, which actually was the start of his era in the book before it became a backup feature. With the very next issue. And of course also Journey to Mystery 112. Oh, there's one other book they included in here for some reason. They also included, this might surprise you, Amazing Spider-Man 14. You're thinking, why would they include this in here for? Hulk made guest appearance issue. Yep. Basically, these epic collections like to collect, like, when it comes to solo characters, like, their chronological appearances. Anyway, the book is set up by the way. Stan Lee does all the writing. You have, the cover art is done by Jack Kirby, Dick Ayers, who actually has some co-artwork here, with colors by Paul Montes. The back cover of the book, which is basically the back of the book, Jack Kirby and Saul Buscema. We have Steve Ditko on one of the issues. He actually has issue 6 of Incredible Hulk. Now, the way this book is structured, which is quite interesting. Now, we're going from 1962 to 1965. Yep, that's what we're covering here. Now, in this issue, in this epic collection, the way we have it here is that we have the first 5 issues of Incredible Hulk, the original 5 issues, not the other relaunches. Fantastic Four 12. Then we have Incredible Hulk number 6. Then we have Avengers 1, 2, and 3. Fantastic Four 25, 26. Avengers number 5. Amazing 14. Tales of Astonish number 59. And Journey to Mystery number 112. What you could say that technically the book ends with 1964, but kind of starts 1965. Now, the first 5 issues, like a series of like standalone issues. The first issue book, which also Avengers number 1. These two effectively covered on like exclusively, like fully in depth on atop the fourth wall. Incredible Hulk number 1, basically the debut of Bruce Banner / the Hulk, Rick Jones, Betty Ross, not Betty Brant, Jenna Ross, and a one-shot character known as the Gargoyle. And of course, this came at the height of the Cold War. During heights of the Cold War, the peak of what I heard of the Cold War was actually 1985. So the first issue is simple. You have, but the way this is written is that, by the way, also I should explain something also about the way he's colored in this book. You see, in the first issue, the Hulk is gray. Now, they had to switch this to green because of a printing error. Yes, so it wasn't like the characters randomly turned from gray to green just by complete random. That's like the way it's presented here. There was actually a reason why. A printing error, because anytime I try to print Hulk as gray, he can come out as black. I don't know why. By the way, this cover for Cover Hulk number 1, this cover is one of the most frequent homage covers of all time. This one issue cover. Mostly it's how Bruce Banner becomes the Hulk first time. Where he's like, You have General Ross getting impatient over not firing the damn bomb that he basically says. We also throwing some sexism in here, where Betty Ross tries to chime in, and he says, "Stay out of this, Betty. Man talk." Yeah, that does not age very well at all. No, it doesn't. The artwork does. The artwork's fantastic. Yeah, so basically he's about to fire the thing. All of a sudden they had to delay it because a teenage boy, Rick Jones, decided to drive on to the base past the guard because of a dare. And he gets him away. His car gets destroyed, but he gets given a full blast. And later comes to Hulk the first time. But I'm only going to refer to this when it comes to basically this issue because it is a really good issue. Though they do have the debut of the Gargoyle is like, oh, we can't see this guy because he's ugly. So let's report this to the Gargoyle. But it turns out Igor, who is Bruce Banner's assistant, turns out he's a Soviet spy. So yeah, let's have basically his tiny communication like, hey boss. Hey comrade. Can you send the Gargoyle over to pick me up? Because imagine someone walking say, dude, what are you talking to your thumb for? Yeah, doesn't seem quite weird the fact they didn't examine his fingers. And of course, had passed around the fact that he couldn't be seen, though he eventually gets cured by Bruce Banner of his gamma radiation. Though he ends up dying saving his life, which is quite nice of him to do. Now, also throughout these first two issues, after you get past the opening origin story of the Hulk, yeah. Then you have an issue 2 where he fights the Toadmen. Yes. He spends a lot of the time in these early issues just fighting like random monsters. And of course, according to everybody else, Bruce Banner goes missing, he gets transformed into the Hulk, and only Rick Jones knows who he is. Yeah, and at one point he's went for treason because of the whole Toadman stuff. Yeah, then later on they develop a machine to help him basically control his gamma radiation. And then by issue 3, he basically is put in like the special cave to basically hold him in place until basically he's calmed down. They was able to get on and fight various other things here. Yeah, then we're introduced to the Circus of Crime. Yep, the Circus of Crime making a debut in this very issue. But what about Princess Python for some reason? Yeah, she's not here. Circus of Crime was actually involved with the Hulk with the first issue of Avengers. Yep. Then issue 4, we got two-page story. This is the one that starts the whole thing of using the gamma radiation, like this device to control his power. And it does work, but when he transforms the Hulk, apparently his face is transformed with him, so he puts on like this mask. He puts it on. And then later on, he gets turned back normal anyways. And issue 5 is a debut of Taratennis from the Roman Empire. Yeah, this is his debut. A guy who occasionally fight the Hulk over the years, even as recently as like a few years ago. He's a very arrogant guy. Hulk does like him, which he actually is. If you think about it, he's the first recurring Hulk villain. He doesn't return like right away per se, but he does return. So he's like the only one. And then we cut to Fantastic Four issue 12, right, issue 5. Simply put, basically this issue is basically the first time the Fantastic Four met the Hulk, and he had the first of many, many rounds of the Hulk versus the Thing. This is round 1. Now, the book wasn't canceled yet. It was canceled the very next issue. And the very next issue, we have debut of the Middle Master. Well, he's just a one-shot character. But this issue was noteworthy for one particular thing. Actually, two things. Number 1, we have artwork taken over by Steve Ditko for this final issue. Yes, for some reason for this last issue, Steve Ditko took over the artwork. Not sure why. It's the only issue we did for Hulk. It won't be the last time we drew him. Oh no, he also drew him in pages. He also drew the Amazing Spider-Man issue featured him. And this is the one we have Hulk basically becoming like Bruce Banner's face and gets over the end of the issue. This issue noteworthy for the debut of the Team Brigade. They'll become a big factor with Avengers number 1. which that's a very next issue. Avengers number 1, pure, iconic, classic issue, and also features another iconic cover that's been spoofed many times over the years. It has been documented a lot over the years, exactly what happens in this issue. So I'll move on to issue number 2. Now, issue number 2 has the debut of a character known as the Space Phantom. Now, why know they included the Avengers issues in here? Probably because the Hulk was part of the team at the paradigm, so they figured out why not include it. Issue 6 because it was a guest star appearance. 3 because he appeared there too. 2 was noteworthy in this book from the Avengers perspective, knowing about the, Ant-Man becoming Giant Man. And we have the first. Now, this issue is noteworthy for Avengers number 2. It's noteworthy for 2 things. The debut of the Avengers Mansion, which has basically been the main base of operations for the Avengers for a long period of time. Up until mostly until 2004, that was the main base of operations. Though there was a brief period of time in the 80s where they had to abandon the place after the classic Under Siege storyline. Though they get back after the destruction of Avengers Island. But most of the time it has been a base of operations, but it stopped being permanent. It was a permanent stoppage with Avengers Assembled when the mansion was destroyed once again by stuff Bendis did in the book. The mansion will reopen, but basically serve as the headquarters of the new Avengers, not the main team. Main team moved to the tower. And of course, later again, the mansion became headquarters for the Uncanny Avengers. Well, the Unity Squad until post time skip, where it got sold, became a sleazy hotel. Then they got bought back by Human Torch. And then it wasn't seen again. I think it was destroyed again, and it was never mentioned ever again what happened to it. It's weird. But here's the weird thing, though. There's no explanation between issues of how the Avengers got their mansion. If you're curious, is there a comic book that actually explains how the heck the Avengers got their base of operations? Well, this is actually shown in a backup story for Avengers Classic. Avengers Classic was a reprint series that, like in the case of X-Men Classic, had new stories. They had a story called Severance Unrequired, which basically served as, the explanation to serve the gap between this issue and Avengers number 1. And now, the Avengers, their meeting room later on would include a bigger table with Aeon and all these chairs. Because this is the early days, they probably didn't get the chairs at that point, and probably also because Tony Stark just donated the place. Of course, he's also using the golden suit. Later on, he switches over. Actually, I think this is Iron Mark 2, I think this is, yes. So, yeah, we also have a debut in this issue of the Space Phantom. Because it's from space. And here's the weird thing about this issue, about this character. He doesn't return until 100 years later, in the 70s. At one point, he poses a Beyonder for some strange reason. And it's because of his actions, the Hulk basically quit the main team and then had to fight him in the very next issue. Oh, and now the next issue they include chairs. So first issue they did. Now, aside from the first time you have Hulk meeting Namor first time, that's probably the best thing about this issue, is Hulk meets Namor first time. And this basically will start, this will be the start of the years-long friendship these two would have over the years. They continued in the 1970s. Now, Hulk himself has never had any issues with Namor at all. And then after this issue, we have the two-parter in the Fantastic Four 25-26, which coincidentally was published, I think, was supposed to be set between issues 3 and 4 of Avengers. But it features a secondary fight, and of course this was actually set after issue 4. So these two parts take place right after issue 4. Also, Iron Man switched to his Mark III attire, which is not as long as his Mark IV. Mark IV was actually the longest one he used. So, after this, and of course, you have a guest appearance in the page of Avengers, right after this issue. Actually, no. Actually, next after that was, after that, after the Fantastic Four issue, then it was Avengers number 5, which was a quick guest appearance for the Hulk. Fighting a Lobman. In the case of Fantastic 2014, this was the first time Spider-Man met the Hulk. Yes. And in the case of Fantastic 2014, this was the first time Spider-Man met the Hulk. Yes. In the case of Fantastic 2014, this was the first time Spider-Man met the Hulk. In the case of Fantastic 2014, this was the first time Spider-Man met the Hulk. Yes. He doesn't show up like halfway through the issue. Finds him randomly in a cave. And then you have Hulk battling Giant Man for Tales 975, which later leads to having a longer feature in the book, starting with the very next issue. And finally wrap up with Journey to Mystery 112, where you have Thor's first one-on-one fight with the Hulk, which is pure classic issue. Yep. And here's the back cover for the trade. Yep. An actually really good issue. Love it. I give this book a 10 out of 10. Next up we have is... Close, please. Thank you. We have Avengers Epic Collection, Volume 24, The Gatherer's Strike. Excuse me. This book collects issues 36366 and number 22. Avengers Terminus Objective 1 through 4. Avengers Strike File, and Avengers Anniversary Magazine. Yeah, and unlike last Epic Collection cover, which covered had the one-shot plus annuals, this one basically has issues 360 through 64. That includes the 22nd annual, 365, 366, and it includes that miniseries, Avengers the Terminus Objective, and the Strike File issue. Mostly, but this takes it mostly of 1993. And also, because the fact that the time this came out was the 30th anniversary of the Avengers, so let's have all the covers be full colors. Mostly for these issues, it's just basically, well, one of the things try to resolve in these issues is the whole thing with the white vision, and of course, too, the real vision, they kind of fix that. We have the continual fight between Avengers and the Gatherers. That's most what happens over the course of issues. And also a potential romance between Black Knight and Crystal. And of course, also something on between. This happens right after, well, they try to start a romance between Cersei and Black Knight, which goes nowhere. And of course, the Gatherers. There's at one point in this book where the Gatherers, I think it was in the annual, they actually tried to, one of the issues where they tried to attack Crystal in the bath, where she's trying to also bathe herself and her baby, Luna. Which, of course, they had to give out to the babysitter. And she's like, "You dare attack my baby?" Yes. Yeah, this is just continuing the storyline between the two teams. Yep. Yeah. Really fun stuff here. Yeah, and they get rid of the white vision thing, which of course that's what John Byrne did back in the 80s, and they just kind of get rid of it here, and basically restore the true vision. Excuse me. Yes. Yeah, that's most of what happens. Is just mostly like a lot of fighting, and of course the very next Epic Collection coming out really soon is going to wrap up the story arc. We have debut of also Death Cry. With issue 364. Yep. And of course, I believe this issue here also has, I guess, here so we have the annual, which fights Bear Bullet. This is actually where the Gatherers try to attack Crystal in a bath. Yep. That's of course the main story. Of course, we also have Blood Wrath, which is from the pages of Black Knight. Yeah, then of course there's a weird guest appearance here. You have Black Knight fighting Blood Wraith. You got everybody fighting him, which of course Kurt Busiek for having him trapped in the country. And add some profile stuff. I really like what I was there for. We have more continuing really awesome with the Gatherers. But there's one really funny bit in here where Holly full cover. Yep. Just a lot of really fun stuff here. And you have Blood Wraith finally return. And then, for some reason, Deadpool shows up to fight Bloodwraith. And Bloodwraith is like, who the heck are you? Like, I don't know, Blackie. Let's make you do this. Like, huh? Yeah, he has no idea who the heck Deadpool is. Yeah, it's weird. It's Deadpool. And it's a story not done by Rob Liefeld, which is interesting to say the least. I wonder if Liefeld knows about the fact he fight blood this character. And then we have the Terminus objective, which is mostly put basically like a little mini cross between the Avengers and Force Works. Really cool mini-series. And that kind of, in a way, ends off the trade with this 4-issue mini-series. Yeah, just really good stuff here. Just thoroughly enjoy this stuff here. I'm going to get this book roughly a 9.5 out of 10. Just a damn good book. Now, with this also, I basically reviewed from 334 to 366, which is awesome. Yep. So, yeah, that's a particular review. Next week, Demon Slayer, and then Ian Zero in the case goes in the next view.